Welcome to FX Street. If you like what we're talking about, you like the content we are producing, head on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button on our channel, and you can follow me individually at Just Analysis One. Taking a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, unless you've been living under a rock, it had a very, very, very strong sell-off yesterday. And just take a look at the measures of these moves. So yesterday on Thursday, this is when Russia invaded Ukraine. You have the open at 25.75. It moved down almost 11% lower and as high as 6% above the open, and ultimately closed marginally in the green at 0.6%. Pretty good recovery, especially when you measure from the low to the close. That represented a 12.7% gain. Now, there's a high volume node forming in this $2,600 range in the 2022 volume profile. It doesn't really line up with a ton of volume profile support from the extended 2021 volume profile, but nonetheless, it is developing here, and it is right on top of this important 618 fib retracement. The oscillators are very overdone here in the on the daily chart. You have the optics band sitting at extreme lows. You have there's some signs that there's about to be some bullish momentum higher here with the composite index flattening out at these extreme lows and looking like it's ready to cross above its fast moving average. And despite the intense selling pressure, the RSI remains in bull market conditions on the weekly chart. The selling pressure has resulted in I think this is a historical low now in the composite index. Almost is. But it's in extreme oversold territory again on the weekly chart. And this weekly candlestick, I don't know about you, but it kind of it's one of those that just kind of screams bulls are defending this very, very heavily. And that you can see the bottom of the cloud at Cinco Span B is just a very, very, very tough nut to crack for bears. It's just holding very, very steadily as a strong support zone. And essentially, we've just built up a higher low. So you look at equity markets and you see, and some commodities and currencies, you see things have reached new, multi-month lows. But cryptos, they were already down quite a bit. And even though cryptos are the riskiest of the risk on markets that exist, it's the structure it's developed from this week compared to the last few weeks is actually quite supportive for some continued momentum higher. And this is something that Akash and I have been talking about quite a bit. So this hasn't really changed the overall long-term outlook at all. We just have these short-term gyrations generated by some jerk in Russia invading people in Ukraine. So, that's what's going on there. So back to the daily chart. As far as what to look out for as we go into the weekend and before we revisit Ethereum on Tuesday rather, it's a tough one. It's below the cloud, and if Ethereum has a daily close that puts the Chiku span below the bodies of the candlesticks, which is like what is it at 26.10 right now, and if it's so $15 lower, if it has a daily close at 25.95, that will put the Chiku span below the bodies of the candlesticks and in open space, which means that'll be a very, very weak condition for Ethereum, and it's a bearish continuation setup in the Ichimoku system, and you'd likely see it come back down to test those 2022 lows in that 2100 level, although the structure would suggest it actually tests down lower towards the 1900 to 2000 level. If bulls really want to stave off any near-term bearish sentiment going into the weekend, it's going to need to return to at least inside the cloud. So by today, it needs to close roughly around, it doesn't necessarily have to. It just ideally it would close back inside the cloud, because there is a huge cluster of resistance up here that it needs to get past. Because at 2,700 you have the daily Tenkan Sen, which is also the Senko Span A. Then you have the Kijun Sen at 2,800. Just a lot of areas of resistance that Ethereum needs to break above in order to kind of get into safety, so to speak. But I will say this, though, that the threshold, and this is something common that we've looked at with the other altcoins this morning, is that despite all of this, the threshold for Ethereum to enter into an ideal bullish Ichimoku breakout to get into a new sustained bull run that would target new all-time highs, it has dropped a lot since last week. We've basically gone, or the last 2 weeks, I should say, we've basically gone from needing to close around 3,900 to needing to close at 3,150. And that is a very good sign, because the move that it needs to make to regain and wrest control from the bears has dropped so dramatically. And it's sometimes hard to forget that after you've seen these bigger drops over the last few weeks. But that does it for me on Ethereum. I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. And from all of us here at FX Street, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.